Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we are talking all things moonology. That's right. July 17th, we have our new moon in the sign of Cancer, and it is going to be affecting so many little things because of that Cancer energy into it is going to really be bringing up a lot of things for us, so stay tuned. That's right. On July 17th, we have our new moon in the sign of Cancer, which is one of my favorite signs because Cancer energy is all about like being emotional and being kind of like out there with our energy and kind of out there with our emotions. This one is also considered a buck moon because this is really represents kind of like the emergence of the horns on the bucks as they start to thicken and grow and kind of like that spring kind of here we go. And this is also really our like seventh new moon of 2023, but our first new moon of like the summer season of 2023. So let's get down to the nitty gritty of this. Like we got all the details. Now let's get down to it. So our new moon is all about new adventures, new energy. And that's always kind of like an interesting one because this new moon in the sign of Cancer is always right after the summer solstice. And it is going to be wanting us to pay attention to like family and home and kind of like giving it a little extra attention or a little bit more attention than we normally do to like our family and friends. But it's always kind of like right after that energy of this summer solstice. So it's going to be bringing up usually a lot of energy and emotions as well. And this is kind of like, what are the new commitments that we have for our family? What are the new commitments do we have for our home? Is there a project that we need to get done? Is there an energy that we need to deal with or whatever it is? So it's kind of like, what do we need to be doing with this energy? And I guarantee you, most of us are going to be wanting to hang around the home. Now, granted, it's like a bazillion degrees outside, so it's hot, which also kind of brings our attention back into the home. So it's kind of like we want to stay nice and cool and comfortable, but that's going to bring us back into like being with our families, doing things with our families, and usually that includes kind of like cooking. Okay, well, that's a nurturing thing because it's all about like, I want to feed my family. I want to do things that they love. I want to cook the kind of like the food that we love during this time frame, light, easy, fun food for us to do. And I will tell you, this is kind of like a good time to kind of really work on people's moods because we're being kind of forced in with the heat to kind of be around family, maybe that we don't care for as much, or kind of being around family that we haven't been around for a while. Now that everybody's like, it's too hot outside. So this can bring up kind of like bringing up those emotions. It can also bring up a lot of overwhelming energy for a lot of people. So just so you know, I will tell you that this is one where people can get a little depressed because it's like people love being out in the sun. Some of us really like being out in the sun, but a lot of times we feel like we're just being like kept inside and it's so hot outside and it's so unblaringly hot. And I will tell you, one of the secrets that I have found is don't talk about the heat. Everybody knows it's hot. Everybody knows it's hot. And it's one of those, so why do you think you need to bring it up all the time? Because I have talked to so many people in the last week and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's Texas. It's the middle of summer. Yeah, don't bring it up. It's one of those because a lot of times what you're doing is reminding people like why we don't want to be outside, and sometimes people love the heat. It's one of those, I have friends that are still out in their gardens, working on their cars, all kinds of stuff. So if you're not bringing it up, just let them be, kind of like let them enjoy what they're going through, kind of let them enjoy the heat of whatever is going on outside. I think that's kind of one of those interesting ones. But I will tell you, this can be like a very emotional time. So kind of like when we're being forced together, that can bring up emotions for a lot of people. And a lot of people are like, we just finished the school year, but it's one of those, it's coming up in just a couple of months. It's one of those like, here we go again. And this has been a really crazy like energy year for a lot of people. So I think that's kind of just like, yeah, let's calm this down. I think that's kind of one of the interesting parts for most people is that this year just doesn't seem like it has the break that we normally get. So yeah, it's just that way. So let's do some angel cards and let's get us a deeper insight into our new buck moon in the sign of Cancer for July 17th. Okay, this one at the I got two popping out here, so let me do this one first. The first one is second house, and this is the resources. Our resource and our family and our friends and all of that can be like a great resource for us, a great resource for us to stretch out into. And are you asking for assistance? Are you really asking for assistance? Sometimes people think they're asking for assistance, but they're really not. It's kind of like that passive aggressive kind of way of energy. It's one of those, if you require assistance, what you should say is, I require assistance with fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. If you don't require assistance, like, thank you so much for offering me your help, but I've got this. Because it's one of those, so many times people think that they're really asking for help, or they're told the person, like, I'm saying, like, I kind of need help or whatever else. If you really need help, ask for it, verbalize it, and if not, let it go. It makes it so much easier. The next one is Mercury, and this is all about the messages. Now, it's one of those, the messages are like, communicate with your family, clearly communicate with your family. And a lot of times people think that they are, but they're really, really not communicating as well as they think they could or should be. So make sure that you're really amping up that ask for assistance and asking for clearly, like, I don't require your assistance at this time, or if you would do this for me, that would be great. Make sure you're clearly stating it out. The last card for us is Apollos, and this is all about thinking. When you start thinking, oh, they know what I want, it's one of those 9 times out of 10, your thinking is off, wrong, no way. Because we think, oh, well, they remember that my shoulder hurts. Really? You're going to think that someone else is going to remember your shoulder that hurts when you do this? Probably not. So if you really want to let them know, like, think about it, like, oh, I need to let them know, like, just so you know, doing this activity really hurts my shoulder. So at some point, I'm going to go sit down and take a break, or I'm going to have to ice it, or whatever it is. So that makes it a little bit easier, but don't expect people to remember things that are important to you. They may not. It's one of those, like, we get caught up with our own stuff in our heads. So make sure that you are clearly communicating with other people. And if you think they got it, most likely they don't, and you should remind them of it. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.